Welcome to the Dairy Raid. Presented with over 20 years of coaching experience, the Dairy Raid provides commentary and analysis of the schemes, the players, and the coaches who create Wisconsin football's new identity. Now here's your host, Ryan Anderson.
Welcome back to the Dairy Raid and the second quarter of Wisconsin versus Northwestern. We ended the first quarter at the beginning of the second because we wanted to let that last drive or the first play to its conclusion where we ended up scoring. Now here we go, taking over for the first full drive of the second quarter. All right. Coming out, two back personnel. Okay, just running GT. The lead. An RPO off of it. Take the quick little hole shot. This was set up earlier by, they ran the same combo. They would just have a flat curl and then an over hole shot route. Now we're kind of bringing this all together. And we could see this as a play action, but this is definitely RPO because they've got nothing here to pick up this backside defender if he decides to keep. So it's definitely not in the protection at play action. Okay. And we're just catching them eyes inside at corner, high low. So they're matching Tretch and then they're high lowing CJ. And then we just hit the soft spot in between. Pretty simple. All right, let's just take a look at the box real quick. Look at backfield action. I like the action on this because this is going to set up later. What I like about this GT with a lead, getting Jackson Ake here releasing wide. Again, it's an influence type action. And so what it's doing is it's setting a wider edge and then allowing our pulls to lead up through. So normally when you get a lead like this, he'll be the first one through. We let one of the linemen be the lead. But we just use the action to widen the defense and change the, we can look even here. The action of this linebacker, how much wider he has to hit it because he has to worry about the lead block of fullback. I like the design from the run game, and then it sets up great for the RPO. All right, so first and 10, 8-yard line. Okay, same personnel. 3 in the backfield. Now we're going to misdirect. Okay, and this is play action. Single man route. And just to play with the coverage that we're going to get, Northwestern comes with a blitz. And this is playing off the aggression of those safeties. This might not necessarily be a blitz here. We call it creeper blitz, a late blitz. But it's more backfield actions. Let's get downhill. That's a nice throw. Getting it on his body. Nice little two-play sequence here for TJ Williams. And good hard throw. Good backfield action. Set the back foot and rip it. Like it. Let's take a look at the box real quick. See how the protection is set up. We're going to get our down blocks. And then we're going to come back with a counter G action. Just let those linebackers and let that safety fill downhill. We got plenty of bodies to pick everybody up. Nice wide open lane. Like this action. Boom. Nice little drive going here to start. Okay, 2x2, offset to the weak side. And now we're just going to throw off of it. Now those safeties are more mindful of over the top. We hit them over the top twice. Just let receivers run routes pull themselves out through it. So we got a whole shot that he could potentially throw on the backside. You have a glance that if he wanted to, he could come back to the front side. But this is where the read is going to be right out here if there is one. And we're already capped, so there's no way we're going to take this. Eyes are right here. His eyes were in the backfield. We pull and hit the whole shot. But there's not. Hit the zone. Get it down here. Okay, pretty good combos here. I like runner. Just a little bit of a forearm into 54 to help set that edge. Okay, Malman got to dig out a little bit deeper. I'd like to see Huber stick there maybe a tad longer because Malman kind of falling down or coming around the corner there, not necessarily falling down, crab walking on, alligator crawling on the defensive cut. Kind of takes Dupree a little bit wider, deeper in get downhill a little bit faster. He might be able to hit that before that trailing linebacker or his trailing defensive end, excuse me, and the safety comes. 2nd and 8. How about midfield? Okay. So we're pretty much running. We could call this quick game on the backside with a double slant, double in. But this is probably bubble screen all the way. Get it out in space. Talked about it before. Why is Darian Dupree getting more reps? It's plays like this where it doesn't even look like he's running full speed and he's outrunning everybody. His value in the passing game is so critical. And our ability as an offense to show that we can feature the running back passing game is actually going to make Wisconsin more appealing to modern running backs. Now, back when we were RBU, running backs were getting 30 carries a game and then being burnt out by the time they get to the NFL. That's not modern football. The ability to get balls out in space and get backs out in space and not or crushing contact in every play. That's what's going to attract players to the programs. Great play by Dupree. 1st and 10, yard line. Picking up plays in chunks this drive. I like that. Center H lead. Renfro picking up the squeezing end. Maybe cutting a little bit premature. Let's take a look at the wider angle here. I'd rather have Dupree play this a little bit longer. There's really no reason for him to be cutting inside on this anyway. Like he wants to come downhill. But a little bit too decisive. I want to see him attack the beat gap a little bit more. Then make a decision. Are we cutting or not? This isn't on Renfro. Renfro took his guy where he wants to, especially with this playing these squeezing ends. You want to turn him back. Oh, something the young guy can learn. 2nd and 10. Okay, 3-by-1. Nub look on the backside. Walker back in the game. Take a vertical shot. A little bit of hand fighting. Now that's good defense. The right call, absolutely. Is it a good throw? Yeah, it's a pretty good throw. And it's the one that you want in this situation. See a little bit more. Here we go with the end zone look. Let's just see if we can see that hand fighting a little bit more. Yeah. That's good annoying defense. A little bit more. We get a little press inside and then burst outside on a release to get space, but sometimes defense plays good. All right, so now we're in 3rd and 10. Good drive that we started with is starting to get away from us a little bit here. Checking out the line. 10 personnel. Tipped at the line, almost picked. Those hands down. Lucky to get away with this. Not great. All right, 4th and 10 leads to the field goal that gets blocked. Yep. Kind of lower trajectory, but a lot of hands up. That's not necessarily good. That ball down. All right. So, good start to the drive. Slowly died, but we get, again, the defense playing lights out this game, so we ball back, no damage done. Out. 11 personnel. Not much going. This is coverage sack. Because he doesn't want to go to the draw. Okay, so this is got double slants on the backside. Got high-low on the front side here. Doesn't like this right away on here down the bottom screen. Doesn't like it here because worried that this is going to take away out. They're playing this linebacker wider, take away the out, so we can play deeper over the whole shot, and the whole shot is complete. So that leads us to go backside. We're not playing pretty good leverage. We're not playing good leverage on this slant. Got to get inside release. Or sorry, it's more of an in, but still, we don't want to come break on an in. With our safety sitting on top of us. Want to attack his outside shoulder and get him to widen, but he's already inside of us. He's already lined up inside. We want to attack inside, push him, break down, step climb him to create space. That takes away that option pretty quickly. And by the time we're getting ready to settle in for the whip backside, the slant that turns out, we've already lost protection. Let's take a look at it. Looks like they ran about as perfect of a defensive line call as you could when you've got this draw action. And it's because we're losing both the running back and center. And what happens is Malman stands too tall, too vertical, gets slanted inside, and then when he goes in, can't trade Huber, and that's just an all lost situation. Runner and Nelson do a pretty good job, or do a better job. Nelson especially. Good job. His guy's coming from the inside to settle and get his hips set. His guy ends up getting in on the sack, but that's on Locke having to move. Runner too far over his feet, lunging. When he has to come back, he's lunging even more. That's what causes the movement and causes Locke to move into the area where Nelson had his guy locked out, creating the space and allowing him to get in on the sack. So this is not on on Lockett or on Nelson at all. This is on Allman first, then Brunner, and then coverage. Oh, not a great way to start that drive. 2nd and 17. May run the ball a little bit here. Get out of the shadow of our own goalpost. There we go. Quick RPO. So this is what this has been building. We've gotten this flat defender and this safety worried about the out fade combo here. So we're playing wider over the top so we can run, playing looser on the corner. Before we were running press, now we're playing looser. And that's going to open up this little glance where it's kind of a mix between it's a hard seam or a lazy slant. Find that soft spot. Linebackers are coming downhill, fitting the run. Safeties are worried about the deep ball, so they're staying back. Space opens up. Nice action. I've really been impressed by the improvement in Braden Locke's mechanics when it comes to RPOs and play action last few weeks. Really crisp backfield action. Nice crisp throw. Take a look at the box real quick, just so we can see how this. So just look, guard lead. So what we're basically doing here on the backside, which we're just stepping and hinging, sealing the backside, and this is almost turning into a double team with a lead, and more like a stretch kind of play, like a pin and pull. That's an interesting scheme, and what that causes is this linebacker to flow out. This linebacker is going to flow across as well. And I mean, run scheme would have been there as well, but there's just nothing over the middle. Easy pitch. Big chunk of those yards back to a manageable 3rd and 5. By 1. Again, apologize for saying again so much. We're building off of scheme that we've run already and coming out with a new way of running it. So we're setting up on the backside here. We've run mesh with the outside receiver a lot. And we've seen it before in this game where we mesh here, and they'd be running like a curl or post over the top. Now what we're going to be running is we're running the burst corner, or what we call the circus route, where we come in as if we're going to break to the mesh. Instead of putting our foot down and coming across, we put our foot down and we break vertical. And then as that safety gathers his feet, break back to the sideline and find the space. And then our underneath route that we'd be running with the running back is the same as if we're running mesh. Create a nice little high-low effect. Really like this route design. Really makes me think, because I run a very similar route. Get the running back up the wheel. Get this where we're running the circus route. Like that. Another great throw by Braden Locke. Okay. Good job. 1st and 10. From 2nd and forever to 1st and 10. Good start. By 2. Okay, we see something. We're going to check it. And I don't want to say we get lucky with a false start here, but Braden makes a check. We don't know. Somebody here doesn't know what they're doing. And flinches. I don't even know who they call on this. But if anything, let's just okay. Ashcraft, still. We don't like getting penalties, but in a situation like that where we had a check call out here and we weren't quite on the same page, maybe a blessing in disguise. But come out, so first and 15, 3-by-1. Center H lead. Left side, boom, boom. Great nimble feet in the backfield. Take a look at the box, see how the blocking's set up. Okay, like's been happening all game. Play side end squeezes. We're gonna pick him up with Renfro because he's gonna try to hook him. Does. Tight end comes across, kicks out the scrape exchanging linebacker. Then 50 little foot in the ground. Get vertical by Walker. Burst through and get a couple more yards. You know, he's a bruiser, but he's got some nimble hips. Big chunk play in the run. 2nd and 4. Love 2nd and short. So many options in 2nd and short because worst comes to worst. We're in 3rd and short. So I give the eye candy and to see how they react. What we're kind of hoping here is by the shifting of the linebackers out that we're going to create a cutback. And unfortunately what happens is we kind of lose track of that safety and push it a little bit too. Let's see if there was a chance for a cutback. If not really, because Jack Nelson's a little bit slow coming out of his stand. Now, he does a pretty good job picking up. But Brunner has got to have his eyes looking more up, back, because they're basically running inside zone here. And I'm not necessarily worried about the backside. When we feel him shifting out, it's going to be the safety because he's filling at linebacker depth and he literally runs right past. Really the only guy that we have to tackle in that game, or block, excuse me. But still get the 3rd and 1. Oh, terrible. All right. Motion, Chris Brooks. Run short yardage here. I like using the bigger receiver instead of a tight end. Still running like a 12 personnel type. I mean, it's still 12 personnel. I use a bigger receiver as a blocker. I kind of like how that sets up. Also keeps them in lighter personnel. If they would have had 3 tight ends, they would have had extra linebacker. Box. We don't end up getting this. They set up pretty good. Who went unblocked? Okay, so Northwestern has a blitz on. Little cross blitz. 57 is going to look to get across to the A gap. 30, whatever. The guy makes the tackle. Is just crossing, coming back to the backside A gap, or B gap, excuse me. And in that case, it would have been Nowakowski if he didn't fall down. He tripped coming out of there. That took his angle wrong, and we ended up missing that block. Not a lot we could have done there. Right, it's a good, I mean, scheme-wise, does a pretty good job. I mean, it clears everybody out going backside. If we just did a little bit better coming off of this, would have been in position. So, ended up getting 4th and 1. We end up punting. And I'm going to make a separate video talking about, a one-shot video talking about the decision to punt in this situation and how I wholeheartedly agree with the decision to punt here. Talk about that in a second. So we end up getting the ball back. Now, obviously, it was off of a turnover. So, how much does that weigh into the decision to punt? Not a lot, but it sets us up. Okay, and everyone talking about, oh, look, we did this in the I formation. I want to point out, we're just in 12 personnel. And this play is set up less by the formation and more about the formation that we broke the huddle in. Or we didn't break the huddle. We got up to the line of scrimmage. So we are in a overload 4-by-1 back to the field. We're essentially 5-0 in our personnel. We're in 12 personnel. So the defense saw the personnel come out. They had the defense to match. Now we're going to shift. And Northwestern is having problems getting aligned. They finally get aligned. And now we send more eye candy back across. And we just run a toss. And you're trusting that Cade Yakimelli can outrun defensive end for 3 yards. This has nothing to do with the fact that it's an I formation. I think everybody, and when you see this clip online, you see the clip from this point. You see from the motion to the pitch. But what you don't see is the alignment to the shift, to the motion, to the pitch. That's what sets the play up. Not to where we ended up. Is where really great play design. It's a simple play design, but you give a lot of, and I keep saying the term, eye candy, things for the defense to think about, see, to distract them. That leads to the big play that gets us in the end zone. Take a look at it. Okay, again, see, we look at the all-22. We get caught up here right after we got set up. Again, we've got from the middle of the field all the way to the sideline to gain 3 yards. Plenty of space for kick back. All right, and that brings us to the end of the second quarter. Great way to end the half. Great use of the ability of our defense to put our offense in a better position with momentum going into that last drive. And we're setting ourselves up for a pretty solid second. So, not a bad start. Let's see how well the Badgers finish. So, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow with the third quarter of Wisconsin.